So I get asked all the time if I would ever consider moving back to the UK. And it's a weird one because I've lived in Russia for over 21 years, I think, 21 years altogether, which is a very long time, and things have moved on. I've changed, the UK's changed, so would I ever consider moving back to the UK? Well, the answer is no. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you why. What does this building look like? Let me know in the comments. This is very nice, isn't it? So first of all, let's get this straight. I'm English. I was born in England. I love the UK. I just don't want to move back there full time, but you never know. I might end up moving back there one day. It's impossible to say what the future holds. Of course, I want to go back to the UK for holidays, to see my family, to see my friends. There's lots of things I miss about the UK, loads of things. I really miss the food there. I'm quite hungry right now, and so it's easy for me to think of food that I miss. And I miss little things like Cadbury's mini eggs. Oh, I could kill a packet of Cadbury's mini eggs right now. Chocolate oranges. Oh, I don't know, what about salt and vinegar discos? They would be amazing right now. Or maybe even Vimto or mango Rubicon. Oh my word, I would love to eat those things right now. And then of course I miss the other foods like curry, I miss samosas, anything Indian food like I miss. All the types of spicy food we have in the UK, I miss that. Just the availability to be able to go into a supermarket and buy a spicy chicken, you know, kind of wrap or something like that. It's not really popular here. Spicy foods aren't popular here. So of course I miss all that. I miss banter about things to do with like football and just banter with your mates in the UK. Completely miss it. So I miss my friends, my family, football culture. I miss that. I really do. But that is not enough to make me want to go and live there full time, because the UK has loads and loads of problems, as does Russia, right? But those problems, and I guess the way it's changed over the last 20 years, are the reasons I won't want to go back. Because when you imagine in your mind, right, the place where you've come from, you imagine it being the place that you left, but it's not that place anymore. It's changed a lot. And the number one reason that I won't want to go back is because all of my friends that live there complain about how crap it is. And that's pretty crazy because they all live there. None of them are, you know, love Russia. None of them want to come out here and live. But all of them complain about the problems that we have in the UK. And if they live there and they complain about it all the time, then I'm sure I won't want to go back there and live there, right? The first thing that they complain about is the NHS. All the time I hear complaints about the NHS, and the reason they complain is they say, you know, I had to go to hospital for something and I ended up lying in a corridor for like 2 days just to get seen. Or someone was telling me the other day that they needed to have an MRI scan, but the MRI scan was really, really important. They needed the MRI scan so that they could get seen by the doctor and find out what the problem was. But the MRI scan, unfortunately, they were going to have to wait 2 to 3 months just for an MRI scan. And so they went private, and the MRI scan cost 500 quid. That's crazy. Here in Russia, you can go private and get the MRI scan for 50 quid. And so that brings me on to the next point. Cost of living. In Russia, you can realistically have an okay life. You don't have to be a multi-millionaire to live okay, to have a reasonably nice house, to afford a car on your salary, to have the potential to travel, to live the life on your terms. In the UK, it is crazy expensive. And I guess anywhere in the world is nice to live if you've got loads of money. But in the UK, people are struggling. The cost of living is so high, the cost of houses is so high. Even things like car insurance and just utility bills are really, really high. And so in the UK, the cost of living is forcing people to struggle who are potentially earning a lot of money. If you work online, for example, and you work remotely or whatever, you can come and live in Russia and earn that money and live loads better than you would do if you live in the UK. So the next problem in the UK is mass immigration. Now, I'll be completely honest, I don't really have a problem with this. I don't live there. I don't really know what it's like to live with mass immigration or mass migration. I really don't know what that's like, but my friends complain to me about the situation in the UK, and they're second generation immigrants. So their parents came to the UK and then they were born in the UK, but they still complain about the mass migration situation in the UK because they say it is crazy. There's nothing wrong with a country taking people in, but they see that people look at the UK as in the good friend who gets taken advantage of. You know, the best friend that everyone has, that everyone takes advantage of because they're really kind and they'll do anything for anyone. That's what they feel the UK has become, because the UK can't say no. Just like that friend that can't say no, that always helps, that always does everything, that goes out of their way to help constantly and never gets anything back for themselves. That's what they feel the UK has become now. Now, it's obviously a difficult topic, because if I lived in a country that was crap, I'd want to go to a country that was better. I like it here better than the UK, so I came here. So I completely understand people wanting to go to somewhere else that's better. The problem is, for a country, especially one the size of the UK, that is not realistic to take on all these new migrants. And at the same time, do these people want it to, I guess, what's the word, assimilate into society? Do they want to take part or not? Do they want to become part of Britain, or do they just like Britain for the reasons that Britain is like the really good friend who's nice to everyone? So the next problem for me is mentality. My mentality has completely changed over the last 20 years. I probably think and act a lot more like Russians do now than people do in the UK. And the difference is how Russians act. Russians tell things as they are. They don't hold back. So they don't sugarcoat things in a good way or a bad way. An example of this will be if I bought a new coat and it was horrible, and I asked my friend, what do you think of the new coat? He'd say, it's horrible, don't wear it ever again. In the UK, they'll probably say, oh, it's not really my taste, but go for it. So Russians are straight talking and they'll tell the truth. In the UK, you'll get people being superficially friendly to you. In Russia, they won't be friendly superficially at all. So if they don't like you, they won't care at all, and they won't try to like you. On the other hand, if they do like you, they'll be extremely nice to you. And so Russians are really straight talking and direct to the point. Having said that, of course, my humor has stayed with me from the UK, but that is also a problem. And so the reason that that's a problem is because I've still got that same mentality as the UK had 20 years ago. And so I can put my foot in things so easily, because now, over this last 20 years, of course, we have woke culture, and there's certain things you can't say, and there's certain things you're not even really allowed to think, but I say them, and I can put my foot in it in the UK all the time, because certain things that were kind of not taboos, but were not really open in 20 years ago in the UK, are now kind of normal in the UK. Nobody kind of bashes an eyelid when they see something, and for me, well, it's still a bit strange. when I go to the UK, I miss Russia. I miss it an awful lot. I miss the traditions, I miss the customs, I miss the foods, I miss my friends, and when I'm there I long to be here. And that's probably the main reason you'd want to live somewhere, is because you're happy. And of course the UK is amazing, but I'm happy here. And when it comes to the customs, right, of course you could carry out those customs and those traditions in the UK, but there you'd have to find people that specifically want to do those things, like go to the banya once a week, or I don't know, have barbecue twice a week, go swimming in the lakes, things like that. Yeah, you can find people that want to do that kind of thing, I understand that, but here I don't need to find people to do that, because they're things that loads of people do. So the next reason that I don't want to live in the UK is because I can see myself getting into loads of arguments with people, because the way that I see the world now differs to how I used to see the world when you live outside the UK. And if you've ever lived outside your country, you'll realise this. I've got mates from all over the world in all different countries, and they all see their country differently, having lived outside of their country. And the way they see Russia and Russia's role in the world also changes completely when you live outside of, well, the UK in my case, but actually living in Russia. You get to learn a lot more about the people, about what they think, about how they feel, how they see the world, and your view of the world changes. And I understand that a lot of people in the UK will not have the same opinion as me when it comes to certain aspects of life, and in particular about Russia. And this is normal, because if you sit and watch the news every day, and your friends always, you know, sit and watch the news too, then you have your own image of the world, and you're taught a certain narrative, and I don't have that narrative played to me every day, day in, day out. So I see things differently, and yeah, I don't think it's going to end well when we just have a general chat down the pub, because my view is going to differ to your view. So in summary, and this is a message to all of you guys that are watching right now, you must live where you are happy. I'm happy here, and so I want to live here. Now, I know a lot of people talk about how they're not happy where they live, but they just talk, but they don't take action. Now, I'm not here to say to you move to Russia, but I'm here to say to you move to where you think you're going to be happy. Try it. If it fails, if you don't like it, if it's horrible there, if it doesn't meet your expectation, then you can move back, or you can try somewhere else. I speak to so many people on my free phone calls that I take once a week, and they say to me, no, I'm really scared about the move, you know, selling everything I have. I say, don't sell everything you have. Come here for a month, try it. If you don't like it, you can go back again. You haven't lost anything. Even if you come here for a year and you don't like it, you can go back. You can move to somewhere else. Just do what makes you happy. If Russia's the place where you're going to be happy and you think you're going to be happy here, come here. If it's Hawaii, if it's Pakistan, if it's Oman, it could be anywhere, right? Just do it if it's possible. Now, I understand a lot of you have commitments, family, jobs, you can't just up and leave, but give it a go, because life is short. Life is really short, and you don't want to be on the deathbed thinking, I wish I'd done that. And so I'm staying here for now, but I have always dreamed about living somewhere hot. So whether that be going and living in Spain for the summer, renting a house and getting a swimming pool there, and going on walks by the sea, or moving to Sochi or Krasnodar like my friend Chris, the plastic Russian, and living down there for the whole summer where it's guaranteed 30, 35, 40 degrees every day, and enjoying life, having nice beers by the beach or whatever. But that's something I'm definitely going to try in my lifetime. So I hope you do what you want to do and live where you want to live, and you're happy where you live. Make that decision. See you.